5 times. That's how many times I've actually shot this video before you're seeing it. Let me give you a little lesson. Don't ever keep camera equipment in a blacksmith shop. Hey folks, welcome back. Jay Stuckermetz from Underhill Forge, bringing you part 2 of our Grizzly G1015 grinder setup and our mod kit from Hell's Kitchen Tools. For those of you that may have turned into the first video, you'll remember that we had quite a few issues as far as setting it up went. A few broken parts. Started out where we noticed that the power switch was actually broken, and that wasn't a huge deal because I do have a way of wiring around that. However, also the pivot bracket was broken, and that's really essential because that holds on the idler wheel. So I had to go ahead and order another one. Took a few days to get here. The only issue that I had was actually Grizzly's customer support, and it's not that it's bad. The problem I had was that there were too many people involved in my case. I had first gotten an email from one person, Cherie, then following that up was Janetta, then Lisa, then Doug, and then Cherie again. I guess my point is that too many people were involved, and unfortunately the lines of communication just weren't there. So I really appreciate them really being on the ball with it. However, in the future, I'd really like to just deal with one person and eliminate some of the confusion that happened in the past 12, 14 days. Anyway, with that being said, the last time I was on the phone with them, they promised me that the new parts would be sent out, and I haven't even checked the mail this evening. Who knows, they could be sitting in my mailbox right now. But hopefully, if not, we'll have them by tomorrow, and I'll be able to slap those new parts on. Otherwise, the main point of setting up this grinder was to add a 4-wheel modification kit, which we'll go over and take a look at now. This is our mod kit from Hell's Kitchen Tools. I'm not going to go too much into how to actually set it up because Jack from Hell's Kitchen Tools actually has a great in-depth video on their website that will walk you right through it. There's just a couple of components to it. You'll notice that there is the mainframe arm here. Also, this is our T-plate. That's where our 2-inch radius wheels connect to. There's also a small piece of square tubing that has a couple of holes in it, and plus then our platen mounting plate, which actually accepts the original platen for the Grizzly grinder. All you have to do is trim it down so that so it doesn't hit those wheels there. You will notice that the grinder kit itself, or the mod kit itself, doesn't actually come with our wheels. We have to buy them separate. Hell's Kitchen Tools recommends a seller on eBay, and I have to say, I had a great experience with them. It was literally very, very fast. I'll put a link in the description here in the video. But I got those wheels in probably about 3 or 4 days. So very, very fast turnaround time, even quicker than what it took me to get the grinder and the mod kit. So in their video, you will notice that they talk about, Jack talks about taking this shroud off, the safety shroud, and we'll get a close-up of it a little later on. But I just took it and I notched it out so that we still have clearance for our belt. Otherwise, I really, I really like the grinder, the mod. I had a few tracking issues which are to be expected. However, we can always move the idler wheel in and out. Grizzly has made, there's about 4 points of adjustment altogether on this, and Grizzly made it rather easy to go ahead and adjust. It's just a couple of set screws here and there. I think I've got most of it tracking really well. It seems like some of the lower grip belts, like 36 and so, still a little tough. But, you know, with these nice 220 grip belts, everything seems to be working really well.
Here you can see that the grinder itself seems to be tracking really nicely, and we're just going over that bevel, flipping it around, coming back, hitting the other side of the bevel, and the belt doesn't seem to be moving around too much, which is really nice. And there we are, just trimming off where we drilled through, and this is what that 2-inch wheel is really essential for, getting into that radius.
One last thing that you might have noticed is that I actually took the original tool rest from the Grizzly G1015 and mounted it on here. All that I needed was a couple of 1 3/4 inch bolts, some washers, and some lock nuts, and it just bolted on just fine. However, that being said, Hell's Kitchen Tools does sell an expanded tool rest through their website for about $60. Whether or not you need it, that's totally up to you. You know what your workload is. I know what my workload is. And this works perfectly fine for me. Should I actually need a bigger one in the future, I'll just hack something together with some spare metal that I have laying around. All in all, guys, I really can't recommend this mod enough. I think it's great. They've really expanded on the versatility of the Grizzly G1015, which in and of itself is just a great grinder, and I highly recommend that as well. But this mod kit really takes it to the next level. It gives us a lot more expandability and, you know, just the different things that we can do with it. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Make sure, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below, and we'll keep on bringing you great videos. Take care. For those of you that might be interested, what I was talking about in the very beginning of the video, the bottom line, don't rely on 15-year-old technology. With moving parts, especially when you get into something like this, which is mini DV, that means that it actually still takes one of these things. Yeah, that's called a cassette for those of you born after 1999. Basically, think about it this way. Anything that's in your shop is eventually going to end up in here. And it's just not reliable technology. Move to solid state as quick as you can. And that's what we ended up having to do here. But thanks again, guys. Appreciate every single one of you watching. And stay tuned. We'll have some more great videos for you very shortly.